What's going on, everybody? My name is Chris Rags and Sola, Scriptura, back with another video. Driving in the car, I want to, first of all, I want to give a shout out to all of the veterans, of the Marine Corps, United States Navy, Army, Coast Guard, Air Force. Definitely, you want to make a conscious effort, not just today. Don't be like, say, a creature of habit. And just going about, and just because it's a day on a calendar, to just kind of like on a seek out mission to find someone in uniform and say thank you, and then keep moving. And the other 364 days of the year, they totally forget about them, or you might even treat them like they're invisible. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. But moving on, I was thinking something I was pondering all day today is there's been kind of like I've been noticing a trend. There's been like a slow, gradual rise of movies, entertainment, sitcoms, media. People are portraying the evil characters, or I wouldn't say, yeah, evil. People are portraying the bad guys as, they're trying to paint them in a sympathetic light, as in the old saying, so that they can get you to look at them through rose-colored glasses. I think about, as a wrestling fan, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, that's what I grew up with. WWE Attitude Era, Stone Cold, Triple H, The Rock, Undertaker, Mankind, etc. I remember the early 2000s was the character known as Kane is portrayed as a big, the big red machine, a monster, and a demon, spawn of Satan, if you would have it. And but in the early 2000s, his character, as it was receiving more development per se, people were starting to see him through a sympathetic light, because he had all of these in storyline physical scars, which eventually became mental scars. Had to retroact his story, but nevertheless, mental or physical scars, whatever it has, and that because of that, people were saying, "Oh man, we feel sorry for you." And so I remember he was teaming up with X-Pac and all this stuff, and D-Generation X. It's some stuff. But then also another thing was Dragon Ball Z. Vegeta, if you recall Vegeta, because I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan. Not all anime, but just Dragon Ball Z. And one particular storyline was called the Namek Saga. And as Frieza, the enemy of that Namek Saga, he just had a kill shot, I believe, or just beat the crap out of Vegeta, and he lay dying on the ground. He was crying and blaming Frieza, this evil galactic tyrant, for making him who he was, making him evil. And then also shows like Breaking Bad. I've never seen him before, but yeah, he's in a sense portrayed in a positive light, even though he's the bad guy. The main character portrayed in a positive light. You think about Two-Face, how Two-Face of the Batman enemy of Batman. The movie Joker, I think it was the latest Joker movie, where he was everything. He was just evil. He was just murking people left and right. But how the movie was spun, it's like, oh man. But you gotta feel sorry for him, because his upbringing. Because like, wait a minute, all of these characters, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot more that just don't readily come to mind. All of these characters are legit bad guys, evil guys, who we really should be locking up, or whatever, and trying to intervene, or I don't know what the word is. I'm having a brain fart right now. But this is kind of like a microcosm of humanity, is that No, we're familiar with, most of us, I figure, most of the people in my listening audience will be familiar with the passage in Isaiah 5:20, which begins, well, a lot of people can cite the first line of it, but all three lines: woe unto those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Now, because, and also I would tie this into another passage about when Messiah was talking to a person, I believe it was a disciple, talking to a young disciple about your father, who is evil. That is, he's not 100% good. He's not all good on the level of Yahuwah and his goodness, but so in this sense, your father is evil, but he will not give you a scorpion, or he will not give you a stone when you ask for a loaf of bread. So we got these characters are legit evil, but yet because of certain narratives and also because of human nature is going to try to find something good in that evil character, and it's going to see them through rose-colored glasses. And while on the contrary, those things which actually is good, i.e. Saving the lives of our unborn, people are going to see them in a negative light. Preaching the gospel to the lost, people are going to see it in a negative light, like you're coming at us, and you're trying to destroy our livelihood. What I want to say is this: it's interesting that because of that, human beings look at certain, just looking at the kind of character that dynamic. If you just take a step back and just become like a people watcher, just observe people. I forget the actual scientific word for the study of human behavior, but just observe human behavior, and it's always of course rooted in our very nature. Jeremiah 17:9, which speaks about our heart, which is deceitful and desperately wicked. Our lives are rooted in sin. Our nature is grounded in sin, in the original sin of our first parents, Adam and Eve, when they fell from the garden. And they were removed, they were kicked out, and could never return, as the angel stood, with the cherubim stood with the flaming sword. So what am I getting at? It's like this: is no matter how much you try to spin it and paint these evil characters in a sympathetic light, you still cannot let the gas off, let the foot off the gas pedal, in a sense. One person that really, one character per se, that and a phenomenon which embodies this very topic, is so many videos, so many movies, so many television sitcoms are calling Satan the father of lies, the destroyer, Apollyon, who lies, cheats, and who let's think about Eddie Guerrero, who is a murderer from the beginning, who steals, kills. He does all these things. He's the embodiment of evil. You can't get any worse than him. People think about all of the dictators in European and Asian history. No, the drug cartels in South America and in Central America. No, you think about the genocidal of the European explorers coming over to North America and exploring Africa. No, he is the embodiment of evil. But yet people are painting him in a positive and a sympathetic light. There are churches out there, not just other religions, but there are actually even Christian churches who are trying to say that, well, he ain't so bad. Or even like some of these mega pastors, and yeah, I'll call them out by name, like a Joel Osteen, who refuse to preach on sin, refuse to call out what it is as sin, being it that those who And it's like what Messiah said, they who commit sin is a slave to sin. And that the wages of sin is death, is that spiritual death, separation from the Most High, eternal separation from the Most High, because that person has chosen to go in that certain direction. So with all of this going on, and again, people are painting him in a positive light, or even refusing. There are mega pastors, prominent names, who are refusing, are very extremely hesitant to even make mention of what sin actually is, what evil actually is. It's going to directly or indirectly, or both, lead those impressionable youth, impressionable teenagers, impressionable young adults, and all those others who lack the spiritual discernment down the wrong path. And this is the problem. If you continue to paint these evil characters in a positive light, and you never call out sin and evil for what it is, Ephesians 5:10, have no unfruitful works with the have no fellowship, no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. If you never call it out for what it truly is, then by nature, people are going to want to gravitate towards that. So, preachers, pastors, priests out there, be about our Father's business. Evangelists, be about our Father's business, and never stop preaching on the wages of sin. Nobody should want to experience those wages, because those wages are mighty, and there's only one who can actually remove our debts, wipe our slates clean, and free us from the chains that bind. I often tell people whenever I'm out and about and I'm preaching open air evangelism or open air street preaching, is that this is a spiritual slavery. People, they forgot, well, not everybody's forgot, about all of the different ethnicities, all the different nations of people that have went through slavery in the past, in the recent memory, and are in slavery that's still ongoing, out there in the Middle East and in China and such, which I'll save for another video. But in this regards, this spiritual slavery, this will have a man, have a woman, shackled and bound, both in this life and in the next. You don't want that. So again, preachers, pastors, priests, evangelists, never stop speaking and proclaiming the wages of sin. Until next time.